What's going on, everybody? This is Al from PlaybookGamer.com, and today we're going to look at the Texas State Veer and Shoot playbook in college football 25. This is the G.J. Kinney offense. He has a bit of an air raid and veer and shoot background, and it's like as you would expect with any veer and shoot playbook. It's got a lot of wide formations out of the gun, but it's got a nice mix of some other things in there as well. It's very similar to like the Ole Miss playbook that's got a little bit of veer and shoot, but this one has a whole lot more of it. So if you want more veer and shoot with a little bit of the traditional shotgun formations built in, then you may really like this playbook. But we're going to go over the formations and concepts and play types and personnel. And hopefully by the end of the video, you have a good idea of what this playbook is all about. So let's start off with the formations. As you see here, we got groups. Everything is pretty much into shotgun. We got one wildcat formation, and it's only 3 plays, and you got a jet sweep series. So if you want to sprinkle that in, you can. But you notice over here, that is it. It's all shotgun. So let's start with ace offset. This is a 12 personnel look. You got 15 plays there. You got tight Y off. This is starting 11 personnel, and you got normal Y off. Focus on number 9, your tight end. Then you got Y off trips weak. Then we get into our first veer and shoot formation, wide slot left, but it's still 11 personnel. Then we got wide slot left weak. Then we got wide slot right. Then we got the weak version of that. And then we get into bunch wide. This is not veer and shoot formation. This is just bunch wide, but still 11 personnel. Then we get into tight open. Number 9, he's still in there. Then we get the spread halfback weak. Guess what? Number 9, he's still in there. Then we get into another veer and shoot formation. This is true wide. This is a 10 personnel look with those 4 wide receivers. Then we get into wide stack. Then we get into wide bunch. And now we're back to 11 personnel, even though it's still looking spread. It's tray open. Then we get into trips, back to the 4 wide stuff. Then trips halfback weak. And then empty base trio. This is where you got 11 personnel. Your halfback, number 21, and then your tight end is still out there. Then we got 5 wide receiver. That is another veer and shoot formation. And now we're back to ace offset. So as you can tell, half of it is veer and shoot, half of it is traditional stuff. So kind of keep that in mind. But if I'm not mistaken, all of your veer and shoot formations are in here. You may be missing 1 or 2, but trust me, there's more than enough for you to have fun with. So one thing I want to point out is there is no unique formation in this playbook in terms of a lot of these playbooks may have one formation where only 5 playbooks in the entire game have it. This one, not so much, but that doesn't mean it's a bad playbook by all means. But what I do want to point out is a lot of the cool pre-snap motion this thing has. It has a ton of it. Even for a veer and shoot playbook where the veer and shoot guys, they don't use a ton of motion. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. But let's go through every one of these, and I'm just going to point out some of the pre-snap motion stuff that I think you'll like. Of course, you got a jet sweep. We're here in ace offset. We got a Z motion over there with flanker drive. You go down to tight Y off. We got a jet sweep action right here. You keep on going. Again, just quickly go through those. I always like to treat those as like priority plays just because they're just a nice series that you can give the defense the same look over and over again, but throw different plays at them. Here's another jet sweep setup. We got 6 plays out of that. So if you're going to do anything from this formation, you might as well do the jet sweep stuff, if that's what you like, of course. We got to look at this spot wheel over there on the left. I'm going to go ahead and select that one. We'll go up against just a random nickel. And this is a unique set of routes, just in my opinion. I'm going to go over here. If I can throw it again, just passing protection is just kind of tough in this game. And I'm not doing any passing adjustments either. Let's see if I can make this. Okay, he should be open. Let's go over here. I can pick up a few yards with the halfback, but it's just another unique little play, but a nice little motion out of the gate, which I really enjoy that kind of thing. You keep on going. Do we have any more in this formation? No. What about Y off trips? Just quickly go through these. And here we got a little Y motion. You got a zone split. You got play action off of that. And you got read option on top of that. You go to Y off trips weak. Do we have any here? Yes, we do. We got that halfback motion again. You got a swing. You got a Z spot. You got a pump and go. I'm going to do the basic swing. I think I can make this look halfway decent as long as, again, the blocking is there. Very simple. You only got one read. You just throw to him. It's actually not even a read. And you just throw it to him and hope for the best. But that's a nice little change up. The veer and shoot guys use that play quite a bit, but for more of the veer and shoot formations, of course. You got some other things. Let's see if we got any more pre-snap motion. Looks like those are the 3 from that formation. Now we get into some of the veer and shoot formations. So they will have some pre-snap motion. Anytime, especially, you got the tight end in there. So when you back out, notice number 9. He has that H-back look in these particular formations. When you click on that, you go down here, you're going to see more pre-snap motion here than you would from like the 10 personnel looks. But we got that tight end, you got a zone split, then you get into your choice deep stuff. That's pure veer and shoot madness. Then you get your wide lead, read options. So you got a little pre-snap motion. You got some stuff in here as well. This is more of the fun stuff. I like the exit motion, exit RPOs. Josh Heupel at Tennessee, they use these a lot, especially like on your first down plays or as a drive starter. He'll pick one of those and just kind of go out of the gate with them. So I'm going to go ahead and click this RPO. Pretty unique play. I'm going to go out of nickel. We got a 2-high look. And here's another thing. This is a wide formation. People have kind of complained about this. The camera angle is kind of tough. I can't see where everybody's at, but I think EA has fixed this. If you keep going back, now you can see everybody, even in passing plays. Now, I'm not even going to do anything here. Just pay attention to the entire screen. Notice you can see everybody. It backed out. So this is something I just now recognize. I don't keep up with their updates or anything. And I'm going to back out to about the 50-yard line or kind of close to it. But I just don't know if anybody's paid attention to that yet, but they have fixed the camera angle. So this has been a fear for you. Well, fear not. You can now see everybody on the field if you use this camera angle. You have no choice but to do this, though. Otherwise, you're kind of going to be hurting unless you're kind of used to using those other angles. Either way, I just wanted to point that out. But notice we got all this pre-snap motion. Do we got any more in here? It looks like we don't. What about wide slot right? Do we have any here? Now, again, do not expect a ton of pre-snap motion from a lot of these veer and shoot formations, but we do have some here. This is more of this or halfback movement. We got a QB draw. It's an RPO built in. Another deep choice slot cross. Look at this. Look at these 6 plays right here. We even got a double pass. I can try to make this work. We'll see if we can do it or not. We'll go up against like a random nickel. I'm going to see if I can try to hit maybe circle. I think I'm going to have the chance to do so. Go over the top. It's a one-on-one situation. He's just got to go and make a play. But that's a pretty neat little play. I think this may be in some of the other veer and shoot playbooks, but it's cool. You got a little trick play built in there. But you got 6 of these same pre-snap motion plays. I suggest you really build your offense around this little stuff like this. I think it's just really neat, especially you can throw the different or the same look at the defense, but just different plays. You got bunch wide. Do we got any here? What about tight open? I'm quickly going through these. Here's another one. It's your halfback doing the same thing, but notice this is spread halfback weak. We got a little air raid. We got some motion, wide cross, motion, wide sail. Really neat stuff that it's built in here to a veer and shoot. And what did I mention earlier about G.J. Kinney? He's got an air raid background, and that's why you see some of this stuff in here. I'm thinking they're going cover 0. I'm going to try to go to over the top. Can he get it? I'm going to have to do an aggressive catch. Nope, just a bad throw. But anyway, I think that's really neat. So it's a nice little air raid, veer and shoot balance, kind of, sort of. I think that's a pretty cool combination, in my opinion. So you guys, we just talked about these. You keep on going. Guess what? More halfback swing stuff. Really cool. You got motion, all curl. I'm going to go ahead. I love the curl flat stuff. Looks like we're going cover 0 here. I'm going to go over here, quickly throw it to him. We may lose some yardage. But if you're a curl flat guy, you're going to have some stuff in here as well. And of course, we're going to go over the concepts here in a minute. I'm going to hit this curl. That's a pick. That's a good play by the defender. Either way, really neat. There's just a ton of pre-snap motion for a playbook that I just wasn't expecting it to have. Okay, so let's keep on going. Just go through every one of the formations. Look for that pre-snap stuff and see what you can find. Here is wide. What about wide stack? This is where we get into the real, more common veer and shoot formations. Again, you're not going to see a ton of pre-snap motion out of these. Keep on going. Trips. Again, the more spread out you go, the less pre-snap motion you're going to find. But that doesn't mean it ain't going to be in there. Empty base trio, 5 wide receiver. Nope, looks like it's not there. But again, there's just a ton of pre-snap motion built into all these. And if that's your thing, I think you need to implement it along with your basic veer and shoot stuff. Let's talk about personnel real quick. The bulk of this is going to be 11 personnel. As with like most playbooks in the game, it doesn't matter what style of offense it is. 11 personnel is where it's at usually. 23, that's just your goal line. Your 10 personnel, you got plenty of it. But notice a lot of it is half split with your veer and shoot and your traditional looks like out of trips and trips halfback weak. And you got your 4 wide, your unbalanced. You got a 32, your QB nil, your 21's your clock management, and you got 112 personnel that's your ace offset. And you got your true 5 wide look, but it's a wide 5 wide receiver. So if you want to go as spread as you possibly can, this is what you go with. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to pick like a QB blast. I'm going to go against dime, and we'll do something random from here. So here we are. We're back in our veer and shoot camera angle. We got 4 guys in the box. And this is just QB blast. I'm just trying to run up, see if I can get whatever yards I can. Of course, my line doesn't protect very well. I can try it one more time. Can I make this look halfway decent? Not really. Again, it just, when you're in practice mode, sometimes when you're going up against random defenses, you never know what to expect. But either way, I just kind of want to point that out. There are 21 plays here. So if you really want to go as spread as you possibly can, well, here you go. You got your wide 5 wide receiver. So we looked at the personnel, pretty much it's 11 and 10 for the most part. Let's talk about concepts. If you notice the play count, you got 51 runs, you got 82 options, 29 quick passes, 111 medium passes. That's a lot. 71 deeps, and you got some play actions. As we all know, that's a little bit different as we'll look at the play types. But let's start off with the runs. You got 18 inside zone, pretty common. Most playbooks have inside zone as your number 1 go-to, and it comes in a wide variety. Basic inside zone, you may have some zone split, depending on if you have an H-back that can handle it. For example, I'm going to go ahead and select this one. Let's go up against just a random nickel. I probably need to quit doing the random part. I probably need to go up against cover 2 just to make these look better. Let's see. Can I get up the gut? Good little block on the right, but my center got destroyed as usual. Either way, you got plenty of inside zone split. You keep on going. We got 9 counters. If you're going to use some counter, you might as well do a little power. You got 6 powers. Sometimes these work, sometimes they don't. I can try to make one look decent. We're going to do one out of gun wide. Let me go out of dime. Let's see. We'll go cover 2. Let me see if I can find one. We'll do cover 2 man. Can we make this look halfway decent? I'm going to go up here. And we're going up against a 5. Let's see. Cut up the gut. No, just again, my center got beat on it. We can try it one more time. Can I get a block right there? It's not bad. We're going to get about 10 yards. Either way, really cool stuff. But the bulk of the time you're going to be spending is going to be with your inside zones and whatnot. Now, you got 8 draws, so you're going to do any drop back. You might as well do some draw in there. Notice there's some QB draws built in. You got 7 outside zones. And a majority of these are not from the veer and shoot play formations. You got one at a gun wide slot left, but otherwise it's basically from your basic gun formations. You got 1 sweep and you got a trap. So the bulk of this again is you're going to be inside zone. The whole point of veer and shoot is spreading everybody out so you can run up the middle more or less. You go to option. We got a ton of these. We got 15 RPO reads and a wide variety. You got some glances and Y flats, more Y flats and bubbles. But again, that's just a wide variety there. And the veer and shoot, it's very RPO heavy. You got 22 RPO alerts. Now, some of these are going to be built into some of these other ones as well, so you'll see a repeat. But it doesn't matter. There's just a ton of RPOs to play with. Some unique ones like this halfback swing with a backside glance / hitch. You got a QB draw RPO built in. Really neat. So if you don't like RPOs, do not use this playbook. There's so much of it in here. We got 6 load options, which / speed, which I actually think is a good high number. I like speed option. I'm actually okay with it. Midline option, you got 1 of those. You got 22 read options. I am not good with the read option. It just, for whatever reason, I struggle with it. No big deal. But you got a bunch of these, so you might as well throw in a little read option. There's so much of it in here. You also got a couple shovels. Those are those speeds we just looked at. And you got 5 triples, and what's interesting is some of these are from those gun wide sets, which I think is pretty interesting. I'm not going to try to replicate one of them. I'm not good with them. But either way, you got 5 of those, and you got 3 peaks. So the bulk of these is going to be your alerts and some of your reads built in with a lot of read option. You go over to quick pass, you got 4 Ohios, you got 2 scats, you got 9 slants, and of course you're going to have a bunch of stick to go with it because it's kind of the same thing. They kind of mix them together. You keep going down here, guess what? Dragon stick and stick. And they built them into the slant spot. Then you go over the stick, and guess what? You got slants on one side and stick on the other. It all just kind of blends in. Medium pass, this is where the bulk of the playbook is at, apparently. You got 4 mesh, that's expected. Mesh isn't a big thing in the veer and shoot. You got 5 Salems. You got 21 smash. This is usually your number 1 concept, medium pass-wise in the game, regardless of playbook, and it's a wide variety if you like your high-low. You got 25 choice. This should be high because it's veer and shoot. This is one thing, either you love it or you hate it. Are you good at it? It kind of depends on the receivers and if they run their routes correctly, depending on the coverage. You just got to hope they do. I don't practice this playbook or this type of offense enough to know if the wide receivers do their part here. Some people say they do it perfectly. Others say they don't. So I don't know. I would just have to practice it enough to see. But either way, you got to run some choice. There's so much of it in here, but that's veer and shoot for you. You got 13 curls. This should be expected because curls and hitches are a big part of the veer and shoot. Look at gun wide all hitch. Hitches are just so important in this particular offense. You go double moves, you got 6 of those. You got 9 drives. So drive is just a dig with a drag going in the same direction. You got 4 levels. You got 1 pivot, 5 shallow cross, which I'm actually surprised, but you notice none of these are in the veer and shoot stuff. That's because this is kind of a mix of air raid / veer and shoot. This is more air raid. Then you go slot cross, you got 4 of these, and you got 14 spots. That's a lot of spot for it being what it is, just in my opinion. And it's a little bit of everything. Some of it's in the veer and shoot, and others it is not. So spot's a big deal. Smash is a big deal. And then I would look into your curls especially. You're going to do a whole lot of stuff in here. And, of course, you can't leave out your choice. Let's go to deep pass. Just think a lot of play action over the top type of stuff. I know we're not going to see play action in this area, but you got 7 floods, 6 comebacks, 2 daggers, 5 divides, 4 double digs, 4 double posts, and a bunch of verticals. As you would expect in here, there's going to be plenty of it. Then you got 2 meals. You got 14 shot plays, which is pretty normal in any type of veer and shoot playbook. You're going to try to go over the top if possible. You got 9 switches. Veer and shoot is a derivative of the run and shoot. Run and shoot is very switch heavy. Think post and wheel, like you see PE wide receiver in. So anytime you see a veer and shoot playbook, you're going to see quite a bit of this. Then you got 3 white crosses. Again, a little bit of an air raid flavor built in. Play action, it says there's only 6, but we know better. There's more in here than what it shows with these boots and slides. Same with screens, but notice it says we got 34 screens. We've already looked at a lot of these. A lot of these are those RPOs, but not always. Then you got 16 bubble screens. Again, those are some of those RPOs we looked at. You got a halfback slip screen, but we know there's actually probably more than one. Then we got 5 mid screens. That's actually quite a bit. But let's go over to the play types and talk about how many there really are. Let's go to screens. There are 28 non-RPO screens. Veer and shoot, it is very screen heavy. Air raid offense, very screen heavy. So again, you got to use screens big time. So you throw these in along with these RPOs, that is just a whole lot of screens. So screen game is got to be an absolute priority for you if you're going to use this playbook, okay? So let's go back to the pass and let's talk about those play actions. There we go. That's more like it. 45 play actions. That's what you do in the veer and shoot. You run, you RPO, you go over the top, you throw play action and more play action. Like the only time you do drop back, honestly, is like when it's 3rd and long. When you watch a successful veer and shoot offense, they do play action so much, it's not even funny. So I just had to point that out. This is a big deal in this type of offense. Let's talk about some runs. We've already looked at most of these. Inside handoff, 31. You got 8 outsides. You got a pitch. You got 9 counters. You got 8 draws, a fullback run, and 3 QB runs. But the bulk of this is going to be inside handoff. Your RPOs, they're all built off inside handoffs for the most part, the bulk of them at least. Your options, this is a big part of your offense. There's so much read option in here. There's so much speed option. You even have some triple option. It's just a weird combination. It's like an air raid triple option veer and shoot combo, which is unique. That's what makes this thing kind of stand out in my opinion. Then you got your RPOs. We've already talked about these. Treat these as your screen game more or less, but these are so important, again, in the veer and shoot. Look at these right here. Gun wide RPO read bubble. It's just a big deal. Your wide receiver screens, use them to death. You can probably go right down the field if you know how to use these correctly and not get out of your RPOs a whole lot. If you, again, you do them correctly, but there's so much of them in here, you have to prioritize them. So that is it for this particular playbook. Just kind of think it's veer and shoot, a little bit of air raid, but a lot of option built into it. It's just a weird combination, but a fun combination, and I think you'll really like it. All right, guys, I'll talk to you later.